Revenge is sweet. The Marlins just swept the Colorado Rockies.
You are Locked On Marlins, your daily podcast on the Miami Marlins.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Marlins. I'm your host, Jeremiah Geiger. I'm a diehard Marlins fan, and I've podcasted about the team for the last 4 seasons. You can find me on Twitter at Jeremiah Geiger2, and thank you for making Locked On Marlins your first listen of the day. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every single day. Hit subscribe on the YouTube channel, leave a like, and leave a comment. And on today's episode, the Marlins got their revenge against the Colorado Rockies, who infamously swept them back in early June. Marlins return the favor. They take 3 games out of 3 games, bring out the brooms, swept them at their ballpark. We're going to talk about that, recap the series. Robby Snelling deserves all the hype in the world. I don't think it's being talked enough about exactly how dominant he is at the AAA level. Can't wait for his major league debut. And we're also going to talk about Big Bert, Heriberto Hernandez, who homered today. Pinch hit homer in the 9th. Don't sleep on him. Don't just think he's going to get phased out of the Marlins' plans. But before all that, I want to remind you that today's episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots. Go to 5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. The Marlins are playing good baseball, guys. They're playing really good baseball. Going back to last week, they won the final 2 games of the series against the Nationals. They won 2 out of 3 against the Tigers at home. They had an off day, head up to Denver, and just swept the Rockies. So if you do the math, that's 7 out of their last 8. Check it. Write a W next to it. It's in the books as a win. Good baseball. And that's exactly what you want to see down the stretch of this season. Even if this team doesn't sneak into the playoffs, which there's a distant possibility they could. I'm just saying I'm going to lay out the groundwork for that. Fish on first, put out the scenario that would need to happen for the Marlins. And I'm going to be rooting for it. You never know. But this team can finish over 500. They're 73-80. They've surpassed last season's win total by a large margin, I would say, by a good 11 wins. And let's see here, with 9 left to play, they could, if they continue playing this level of baseball, they could finish over 500 or right around 500, which would be incredible. But let's talk about this Colorado series. Because going into Coors Field, my main concern was pretty simple. It was just the pitching staff, how they would handle at high altitude, and given the volatility of the Marlins offense and their lineup, if your pitching struggles and your offense has a off day, you can drop a game or two to an inferior team. And make no mistake about it, the Rockies are an inferior team to the Marlins. They're 41 and 112. I didn't even realize how bad they were until I was doing this podcast, or right before I hit record. The Rockies are really bad, like really, really bad. Marlins went in and took care of business. A complete 180 from the beginning of June, when at home, the Marlins reached their lowest point of the season, where they got swept by these same Colorado Rockies. They returned the favor. Revenge is best served cold. I don't know if there's a saying to go with that, but I digress. First game of the series, Yuri Perez, 5 innings, dominates, 1 hit. That was it. Didn't walk anybody. There was the rain delay. The bullpen almost gave it back. The Rockies had the tying run on third. Ronnie Enriquez stranded him. A line out to Connor Norby at third base. Game's over. Marlins take game 1. Game 2, the Marlins offense comes alive. Runs in the 3rd, 4th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. They were scoring almost every inning. They win the ball game by a score of 8-4. This one wasn't really close. The Marlins rattled off 12 hits. Agustin Ramirez hit his 21st home run. The bullpen was really solid, Ryan Weathers, he got hit around a little bit, gave up 8 hits in 4 innings, 3 earned runs. But Lake Bacher, 2 shutout innings, 2 perfect innings. Enriquez pitched in back-to-back games, something I didn't expect to necessarily see. You had Calvin Fauché, a shutout, uh, a good inning, no runs. George Soriano, of course, finished the ball game in the 9th. And what do you know? He went 1 inning, 3 hits, 1 run, gave up a homer. His ERA's still over 9, by the way, for George Soriano. Just to make that clear, I know it's a Marlins win, but I think it's funny that every time the guy pitches, he gives up a run, at least a run. I think the Marlins were lucky to escape with just the 1 run against George, who somehow is still on this team. And then you win the first 2, you've already clinched the series win. It's a matinee. It's bright and early. It was a 12:05 first pitch local time in Colorado, I believe. Maybe 1 o'clock. Getting the time zones a bit confused. No, it should have been 12. Should have been 12 because I'm in Mountain Time, and I believe Denver's in Mountain Time as well. So, yeah, early first pitch, Sandy Alcantara. What do you know? Sandy Alcantara is 100% back. He is just a really good pitcher. And I know the whole first half of the season, it was difficult to watch. It was frustrating. It was sad at times just to watch him struggle and everything that he's done for this franchise. But he took care of business. No complaints with Sandy. He goes 6 innings, 6 2/3 innings rather, 3 earned runs on 5 hits. He walked 2 and struck out 8. So you look at Sandy Alcantara as a pitcher for the Marlins moving forward. He's still your ace. El Caballo, he is still the ace of this staff, and I hope that the Marlins don't trade him this offseason. That's one of the topics that I do want to talk about eventually is just don't trade Sandy. Build. Not tear down anymore. This should be the building phase for the Marlins. You have a really talented young core. You have more talent coming up through the system. I don't think the Marlins have to tear down more pieces of this roster. They avoided trading him at the deadline. I was happy that he stayed. I was ecstatic that he was still a Marlin. Sandy was thrilled that he was still a Marlin. But I have this worrying feeling in me that the Marlins might look at this last, I guess, not stretch of games. Well, yeah, it's been a really solid stretch of games for Sandy. They're going to look at the production and they're going to try to move him. And maybe they change their mind. Maybe their plans have changed, but coming into the season, I can almost guarantee you that the Marlins wanted to trade Sandy Alcantara. I looked at it as a foregone conclusion. So Sandy Alcantara's win total, by the way, this season, his record, he's 10-12. He's got 10 wins on the season. And like I said, he's pitching way better. For those watching on YouTube, I had to pause the recording really quick because the dog started barking. But let's move on. Oh, one more point with Sandy Alcantara in today's game against the Rockies, because I like looking at the arsenals and the pitch usage and just breaking it down and seeing what pitches were successful in any given outing. For Sandy Alcantara, it was an even split between the changeup and the four-seam fastball today in Colorado. Hardly threw the sinker, which I found to be interesting because you typically think of Alcantara as a sinker pitcher, more pitch to contact. Not necessarily, I mean, he can get the strikeouts, but he's not relying on the strikeouts for success. The changeup and the slider he threw, those were the two highest used off-speed secondary pitches for Sandy today. But I'm so glad he's pitching well. I mean, as a Marlins fan, how could you not be thrilled? Even with the record and the start of the season, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Now, one of the pitchers in the Marlins system, he's not in the big leagues yet, but I want to talk about him more. It's Robby Snelling, because this guy needs to be hyped up. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-Hour Energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. One of the things you're going to love about 5-Hour Energy is how portable they are. Big taste, a tiny shot, and you can take it anywhere and get that boost when you need it. One of the things I like about 5-Hour Energy, the sugar-free. Like, who doesn't like tasty energy drinks that fuel your day and you're energized, but you're not having that sugar because sugar's bad for your body. You're gonna feel bad a few hours afterward. It's just great. It kicks in fast. You don't have to worry about the sugar crash, and it tastes really good as well. So enough with the boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-Hour Energy shots. Get the favorites you love or be bold and try something new in store and online at www.5hourenergy.com or on Amazon today. I appreciate all the everyday listeners who tune in to Locked On Marlins. Can't do this without you guys. If you're new to the show, hit that subscribe button, leave a like. It's completely free, and it helps the show, of course. Robby Snelling. Why? I don't know. I I was gonna say, why hasn't the media, the national media, emphasized what Robby Snelling is doing in AAA right now? But the more that he pitches, the more I think people are starting to come around to the idea that Snelling can be a bona fide ace. I mean, what he's doing at the AAA level after getting promoted from AA Jacksonville is just incredible. He's getting better. Not just incrementally better, but significantly better. In AA this season with Pensacola, he made 14 starts, pitched to a tune of a 3.61 ERA. That was across 72 and a third innings, 85 strikeouts. He got promoted to Jacksonville, and for the Jumbo Shrimp, he's made 11 starts, a 1.27 ERA, 63 and two-thirds innings, 81 strikeouts, a whip under 1, 0.99. The guy hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in a game since June 11th, when he was back in AA. So the last handful of starts for Pensacola, he went 1 run, 0 runs, 1 run, and then he got promoted to AAA, where he's gone earned runs allowed 0, 2, 2, 1, 0, 0, 0, 2, 1, 1, 0. Dominance. He has the capability to strike out 13, 14 in a game. His season high this year, 13 strikeouts. He's had a couple of 11 strikeout outings. He's incredible. And when you look at how the Marlins are built, what are they built around? Pitching. They're a pitching factory. They've been good at developing pitchers for years. The problem has been the offense. Where are the runs going to come from? And I think that the Marlins are answering that. You're seeing Jacob Marcy, who's a 5-tool player and a star, make his debut. You're seeing Agustin Ramirez. Defensive concerns aside, the bat is legit. It's scary. You have Otto Lopez, who's an above-average second baseman. Kyle Stowers, who's on the injured list, and an all-star, and who I think could be a dark horse MVP candidate in 2026. The offense is building. So where does that leave your organization? In a real good place. Because the pitching, the development, it's not slowing down. It's only getting better. And Robby Snelling is the latest case of that. He had an off season a year ago. He struggled with San Diego in their system. and with the Marlins, combined 5.15 ERA in 24 starts. Look at what he's done this year and tell me that this organization, they don't know what they're doing when it comes to developing pitchers. Because I think they're one of the best, if not the best organization with handling young pitchers. Snelling could pitch in the Marlins rotation right now, and I would have no concerns. Would he be, would he have growing pains? Sure, that's a possibility. I'm not expecting any young prospect to come up and dominate right from the get-go. But I'm telling you, this guy is legit, and he has top of the rotation stuff. It's not just smoke and mirrors with this guy. It's not just, I'm going to finesse my way throughout the minors. I know how to pitch, and which is great, pitchers over throwers. But Snelling is a pitcher who has a cannon of an arm and who has the stuff behind the mentality of a pitcher, of a frontline starter, of a possible ace one day. I mean, he can get up to 97 miles an hour on the fastball and carry that velocity deep into games. It's really, really effective as well. I had the numbers here for Robby Snelling's fastball in zone. And this is, I'm going to pull it up right here because I saw it right before I hit record. If I can find it here. It was a tweet from MDV over on X or Twitter. And I can't find it. But the point being is the in-zone result on the fastball, dominant, has good life. Hitters, for whatever reason, struggle with that, and he has got that really good curveball that he can throw. The dude's going to be really, really good. And the hype train should just be getting started. There's a real chance that Robby Snelling is in the opening day rotation. Do I think it will happen with this organization? Not necessarily because of service time manipulation. And I've talked about this on the show before. A couple of years ago, you had the Max Meyer, or this was last year rather. You had the Max Meyer situation in which he started off really, really well, dominated the Braves, and then was optioned to AAA. And you were like, what are you doing? At that time, it felt like Meyer was your best pitcher in that staff. Remember, there was no Yuri. There was no Sandy Alcantara. So to see Max Meyer get an opportunity to pitch and grow at the major league level, it felt like that was taken away. I don't want to see the same thing happen with Robby Snelling. But I do trust that this organization has a plan when it comes to their pitchers. They're great at developing them. So there's a part of me that just says, you know what? Let the timing be the timing when it comes to Snelling's debut. I'd love to see him pitch in a couple of games this season. It looks like that's not going to happen. But next year, we could be looking at a rookie of the year with Robby Snelling. That's how good I think he can be. And that's how good I think he will be. And he might be the second best starter in the jumbo shrimp rotation. Because Thomas White exists, who arguably is the number one pitching prospect in baseball. Certainly left-handed pitching prospect in baseball. There's an argument for that. And yeah, I'm biased, but give me Thomas White over any prospect. Give me him. I want Thomas White over Andrew Painter. I don't care. Bubba Chandler. I know Chandler made his debut already. Give me Thomas White. I think he's going to win a Cy Young one day. And I am hyping these players up, and it is legit hype. These aren't just, I hate to say it this way, but these aren't just prospects who produced and don't have the tools behind it to contribute long term. I mean, we've seen that happen before. Guys show up in the Marlins system. They earn their way to the major leagues, and that's awesome. But long term, the outlook says they're not going to be a productive above average major leaguer for 10 plus years because they just never had the tools or for the pitchers, the stuff to begin with. Well, the Marlins are getting guys that have the production and have the if I can talk, the tools, the talent. A good example I think of that is a guy, you could say a guy like Jordan Yamamoto for the pitchers. Yamamoto showed up to the major leagues. He produced his first 3 starts or so. But was he ever going to truly survive and make an impact? No. He had a low 90s fastball. He just didn't have the stuff. Thomas White has the stuff. Robby Snelling has the stuff. They have the it factor. And we talk about, in the sports world, quarterbacks having the it factor, that aspect of somebody's game that you can't measure, that's not tangible, you can't put a number to it. I think Snelling has it. Former 4-star recruit as a linebacker, bulldog mentality on the mound, comes after everybody, ultra competitive. And for a pitcher, that's what you want. It's absolutely what you want in terms of an attitude of one of your top prospects. Cannot wait for Robby Snelling. Another player who is currently on the Marlins right now. He's made his debut. I actually broke the news that he was getting called up to the Miami Marlins. That's Heriberto Hernandez. Don't sleep on Heriberto Hernandez. He's a player that I think can succeed, not just the rest of the season. It's not just a flash in the pan. I think he can be a productive outfielder for the Marlins in 2026 and carve himself out a very important role. That's going to come up right after this. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. And that's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. I know I'm busy, and I'm sure most of you guys are busy as well. And sometimes you don't have time to organize your finances, but that's why Monarch Money exists. It does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. One of the best aspects of Monarch Money is you're able to identify that you're not saving as much. Monarch will help you notice your inefficiency at investing, and they're going to fine tune your finances for you so you can get back on track, build up that savings. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and also remember, if you're on the go, you can't make it to watch the show, you can listen to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Marlins is on all the major podcast platforms. Don't sleep on Big Bert. That's the nickname given to Heriberto Hernandez by the Marlins radio announcer, Jack McMullen. I believe it was he who coined the term. I like the nickname. It makes me think of Sesame Street. I don't know. You have Bert and then Big Bird, like a combination of those two. Anyway, Heriberto Hernandez. Why is he such a fascinating player to me? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, he's come up to the Marlins, and in 263 plate appearances, he's got an OPS of 781, 9 homers, slugging .435, hitting .270. That'll play. That's pretty good. For a guy that was hitting .220 in AAA at the time of his call-up, somewhere around there, he's come up and far exceeded anybody's expectations. At the time of Heriberto Hernandez's call-up, there was an outcry from Marlins fans saying, why is this guy getting called up? Where's Troy Johnston? Well, guess what? Heriberto has come up and shown promise. So has Troy Johnston. It all worked out in the end. Heriberto Hernandez is an underrated outfielder. Very underrated outfielder. I don't think people realize that he's positive in outs above average. 5 outs above average for Heriberto Hernandez. Positive fielding run value, according to Baseball Savant. And he's quick. You wouldn't expect Heriberto to be as quick as he is. And although he doesn't have a stolen base on the season, it's 83rd percentile in sprint speed. Now you go to the offensive numbers. So we've established the groundwork that he's athletic enough to avoid being just a DH. He's serviceable, if not above average, in the outfield. And then you look at his offensive numbers. This is interesting to me because he barrels the ball pretty well, hits the ball pretty hard, nothing crazy. He doesn't chase a lot. He's elite when it comes to chasing at pitches outside the zone at just a 20.6% clip. Okay walk rate, 9.9%. So we'll call it a 10% walk rate. The issue for Heriberto is the strikeouts. He strikes out at a 25% rate. He whiffs 35.5% of the time. So if he can cut down on the swing and miss while still avoiding chasing pitches outside of the zone, there's room for Heriberto to grow as a hitter and become even better, as good as he's been in his rookie season. And remember, he's a 25-year-old who was signed from the Rays as a minor league free agent. A minor league free agent. Not a major league free agent. The Marlins signed one true major league free agent contract, and that was Cal Quantrill, who's since gone on to be an Atlanta Brave. And we wish him the best. And for Cal Quantrill, he struggled in Miami, but there were glimpses of success for Quantrill. But I think it's safe to say Hernandez and the value that they've gotten for him, much better. And again, a minor league free agent. The Marlins outfield is loaded in terms of competition and potential players that could start. Marcy and Stowers, I've said this and I will continue to say this. Those two guys are locked into starting spots. That's it. Mic drop. Nothing left to say on that. One final spot. Starting spot for the Marlins will be available in 2026. Is that Griffin Conine, who I think has the inside track at being the starter because of his production at the start of the season. He would have continued to be the Marlins starting outfielder, but everything is earned, nothing is given. That's one of the rules of the show. Heriberto Hernandez, you're not just going to discount his production and throw it to the side when there are numbers that back it up. I mean, he's a good baseball player. And the Marlins, they like good baseball players. That's what everything is building toward, is becoming an organization that continuously churns out productive players. If a guy gets injured, you call up the next guy, next man up mentality. And that's how Heriberto got his opportunity. So for Hernandez, can he be better? Absolutely. Is there going to be competition with him and Griffin Conine, Kemp Alderman, who homered again today for AAA Jacksonville? He's a guy to watch for in spring training. If he has a good spring, do you put him on the opening day roster? Dane Myers is back from the injured list. Those are 4 guys I've mentioned for one starting spot. Victor Mesa Jr., who also homered, whether it was yesterday or today, he's somebody who I have felt has never got a true opportunity to showcase what he has at the major league level. Look at that depth I just named in the outfield specifically. If you're a Marlins fan, and I'm sure most of you, if not all of you who have made it this far in the show are, that's awesome. That is something that I can't remember seeing the Marlins organization be in this current state. Deep. They have options. They can make transactions and trades from depth and address other needs of the team or organization. And I don't think it would hurt them. I can't wait. I can't wait for 2026. I think this season has been a blast. The Marlins are playing great baseball, and they've got plenty of decisions, good decisions and difficult decisions that they're going to have to make. So Big Bert comes into the game, pinch hit 2-run blast. Let's get him. Hopefully he gets to double-digit home runs. That would be great to see from Heriberto because he is a power hitter. He's got some raw power in that stick. Decisions are going to be crucial this offseason. I just want this team to finish strong, continue playing good baseball. Fundamentals. I love the offense in Colorado. Keep scoring runs, back up your pitching staff, and let's see what happens. If worst comes to worst, you don't get in the playoffs, and I know the percentage chance is so low. Play spoiler and go knock the Mets out in that final series of the 2025 season. That's going to do it for today's edition of Locked On Marlins. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and until next time, stay safe, stay locked on, and let's go fish.